Perfect.
Welcome, everyone. My name is Janet Naklia. I am a programs manager with Alberta Recreation and Parks Association. You are joining us today as part of our online programming series that we're doing for the Okotoks Indigenous River Camp programming. Originally, this started as a camp on the land, but due to COVID, we're able to expand this to online sessions with elders. And so we're very excited to have with us today elders Darryl and Linda Brass. And I should also say that my spirit name is Muskiki Kihu Esquale, Medicine Eagle Woman, that came to me from Linda and from Darryl's dad, Darryl Sr. So that's a very huge honor for me to have that name. That's who I am, and to be able to walk forward in a good way with the Brasses as they share their teachings with us today. So today we're talking about traditional gender roles and identity and the context of that within the Medeowan Lodge. As I was also saying, I'm sitting here in Calgary in the Treaty 7 area, so I do want to acknowledge that land, how important it is to who we are as a people, to the people that have been here since time immemorial, and all those multi-nations that have now come here to make this environment richer and more amazing. So with that, I would like to offer this tobacco virtually to you, to Darryl, and to you, Linda, for the teachings that you are about to give us today, for the beautiful smudge and the prayers that will happen. And next time I see you, I will hand this to you in person. And I'll keep it here to my heart until that moment happens. So without further ado, I'm going to pass it over to you to introduce yourselves. I should also say that Darryl and Linda hold the lodge for the Medeowan Teaching Lodge and for the ceremonies here in the Calgary area. It's an honor to have them with us. They've been part of ARPA and Communities Choose Wells gatherings for quite a while, and also to the culture camp. So it is such a huge honor to have them with us because of their dedication to community and to youth, and to this very important conversation about roles of identity within a traditional and a contemporary context. So thank you so much for coming with and visiting with us today. And I'm now going to pass it on to you to do the smudge, and the rest of the time is yours today. So thank you so much for coming.
Miigwech, Janet. Go ahead, Mom. Introduce yourself. I'll like the smudge.
Miigwech, creator, giver of all life, grandfathers, grandmothers, Mother Earth, Mississippi, School Big Water Woman, your granddaughter. I'm thankful for all the young people who's in the program, and it's a very important program. And it's important that we learn a little bit about our teachings from different people in different areas, because we're all mixed today of different nationalities, and also in the native world, we are also mixed as families in different tribes and nations. And I say miigwech for that, and I'll let my son say the prayers for the smudging for all of you and us.
Smudge first. While my mom's smudging, I'll just introduce myself. Buzu Nia Mustus Neal. I am Buffalo Man. My English given name is Darryl Brass. I give thanks for this day to be in ceremony today. We did a little ceremony earlier today. That's why we're tardy. And then we're pleased to be sharing some teachings with you as well online here about gender roles and how traditionally they were held, and also with our TwoSpirited brothers and sisters. So I say miigwech for that. And right now I'm gonna just smudge and do a prayer for us today. Miigwech. Miigwech Gichimana, to great spirit give all life. Miigwech no mushamis, miigwech no kamis, miigwech kamamanan. Yeah, now I'm thankful for this day. I'm thankful for this day that was given to me. It is not promised. I give thanks to the Creator for this day, for all the beauty and splendor that awaits me in this day. I give thanks for all I have to be thankful for. There's so much to be thankful for. Just life in general, waking up, seeing that beautiful sun, being with the beautiful people this morning in ceremony, to have my mom sit beside me and still guide me and work together and sharing our traditional ways, for all the people who are joining us through the Zoom meeting to help themselves to grow and understand our traditional ways and find themselves and help find healing and love and kindness and family. I say miigwech for our beautiful friend Janet, who does all that beautiful work for us and looks after the people with her kindness and love. And she's always willing to do this work for the people and always so selfless. I say miigwech for that. And I say miigwech for all the beautiful people joining us. I always say that ceremony isn't made by the people who are facilitating it, but is made by all the individuals who come to ceremony. We all have something to add to ceremony. We can learn off of you as much as you learn off of us. And I say miigwech for those beautiful teachings. And I also say these are not our words. These are traditional teachings, prophecies, and corrections handed down to us from our elders and ancestors, as well as given to us by the grandfathers and grandmothers in a humble, pitiful way. We are nobody special. We are equal to all out there. We are all equal. We are no better than a man on the street who is trying to find his way. We are all brothers and sisters. Creator loves us all equally, and we give thanks for that teaching of humbleness and to keep ourselves humble in a humble, pitiful way. I say miigwech. And I ask for guidance in my words today, mushamis nokamis, so I do not fool the people, so I can walk on that fourth level and tell truth and allow that kindness, cleansing, healing, and telling of the truth to come through to the people in a beautiful way. And I say miigwech, and I say miigwech for all the people who do ceremony and all the people who share their lives with others and all people of this world, as well as our brothers and sisters, the plants, the animals, everything there is. I say miigwech. Miigwech. Kakia wakabagnak, all my relations. At the end of our prayers and ceremonies, even at our songs, we always say Kakia wakamagnak, all my relations. That Kakia wakamagnak means all my relations. That way, in any ceremony we do or any prayer, we don't leave anybody out. When you say all our relations, that's everything in the universe, because we're a part of everything in the universe. So we acknowledge that, and that way everything is blessed with our prayer and nothing is left out, or our songs. So I say miigwech for that, and I just want to share that little teaching with you about that, why we say that. I'm going to let my mom talk first here about our traditional roles, male and female, as well as two-spirited understanding and love and kindness for each other. So I say miigwech.
Miigwech Creator, and everything that we do in life and ceremony is for the Creator and the Mother Earth. Our love for our people is always constant, because we don't like to see any of our people hurt, right from the little ones to the old ones. And if we can help, we'll be there for any one of you at this time and any time. And I say miigwech for you be taking part in this teaching. And I'm so thankful that my girl Jeanette, she made this possible, and she's in there with her heart, her mind, her spirit, and her robe. And I say thank you, miigwech. And I say miigwech to all the teachings that we received. Me and my husband carried the Medewan teachings for over 35 years, and he passed away 2 years ago, and my son took his place. And my sons and my children have been in ceremonies. The youngest son was since he was 10 years old. He sun danced, and we fall off the sun dance and ceremonies on that road, on a sweetgrass path. And we make mistakes. I've made many mistakes, and I'm not ashamed of them. I'm proud of them, because I can share and I heal from those mistakes. And I get those mistakes I made become a teaching to me, not just, I made a mistake, but I let that teachings every day be part of my life, because I'm no better than the worst one or the worst animal or anything. We're all related with the animals, and the animal kingdom is where we get our strength. When you get your spiritual name and you walk with it, you walk with that pride, and you know who you are. And I encourage you to either go to your families and your ceremonies where you're from, or you can come and receive names. Maybe we can set up at one time for ceremonies for just spiritual names, because I know it's helped lots of people. And it doesn't matter who you are, what color you are, and who you love and who you don't love. It's how you need to receive love and protect yourself with this love from the Creator, because the Creator is so powerful in the Mother Earth and all that's in between. Today, it's a beautiful day, like my son said, and I'm always looking for for life for my children. Yeah, and for all my family. Like I call Jeanette's my daughter. She's been my girl for many years. And same with the rest of the family. You become part of us. And it doesn't matter where you're from, who you are, like I said. And I want to welcome you into our teachings. In the day when the women had their teachings to do and their ceremonies, and the men did too. But when a person was two-spirited, they allowed them to either sit on either side of the lodge, or one time they'd sit on the female, and the other time they would sit on the male, and sometimes they'd sit and they'd listen and they'd wonder about themselves. And a lot of times we grew up, because we're natives, we're ashamed of who we are. And then when we grow up with two spirits, it's harder too, because we're fighting not only sometimes the people out in cities and the pathways in your life, but you're also fighting your moms, your dads, your relatives, because some native people don't like to admit that we have these two-spirited people. My son is two-spirit, and he walks in a very good way, and he carries a pipe, and he has the right to any ceremony that he chooses to, male or female. And that's the teachings that we carry, that we're not ashamed of who we are. We should be proud. The Creator loves us no matter who we are. And he teaches us, and we want these teachings to go to all you young people and to learn and be proud of yourself. When you walk into our lodges and ceremonies, we don't make that judgment, and it's beautiful, because I'm tired of people judging me as a native person. I don't need somebody to judge my children and my family of life, and that includes all of you, because I don't agree with that. And I'll stick beside you, and I will love you like my own child, and I'll teach you and share life with you. And I say miigwech, and I'll talk later. Miigwech.
Miigwech. In our traditional teachings, we're taught whenever we are going to speak, we mention our spiritual name. Don't call it an Indian name. It's not an Indian name. It is your spiritual name. And it is a way we do ceremony, and we ask for a name for you. One of the grandfathers and grandmothers will come to us and offer a name for you. And then from that point on, anytime you go on a ceremony or enter a sweat lodge or any kind of lodge or even a sun dance, you always acknowledge your name first and foremost. And once you get that spiritual given name, they acknowledge you right away and know who you are. It's a beautiful, beautiful ceremony. And you actually, it's part of finding yourself and finding who you are. Now, with our naming ceremonies, we have our traditional male and female genders sometimes into our ceremonies. Like Buffalo Man is my name. I am a man. I want people to know I'm a man. And then we have, say, Messinas Pia Squale, Big Water Woman. That's Water Woman. But we also respect our two-spirited one and non-binary and all of that, of course. And we also give names that have no male or female gender mentioned to them. They're just genderless names for the people of those who are two-spirited or walk on both sides. So a couple weeks ago, we gave a name to a two-spirited person, and it was Little Dancing Bear. And that was such a beautiful name. And when you looked at her, she was so happy, and she could remind me of just a little bear dancing around. And there was no gender given to that name, because we have so much respect for our two-spirited ones that we give them that right. And in ceremony, as my mom said, we respect the rights of our two-spirited people. In our lodges, and I can only speak about our lodges at this time. There are other lodges that have different rules, different protocols, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's their teachings, and they're beautiful. They're very beautiful, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I can only teach on our teachings and what we have to share. So in our lodges, we give the people the right, if they're two-spirited, we have what's called water drums. And we have a male water drum, which is the little boy, and a female water drum, which is the grandmother water drum. And there's also a grandfather water drum, but we haven't been gifted that. And actually, I have never seen one, but I've heard of it. So I look forward to the day that I see one and hear one of its voice call for the people. But in our lodge, we allow that right for the male and female people to sit on whichever side they feel most comfortable. I mean, sometimes with some of them, what do they call? They recognize themselves as female. So we tell them, you know, if it's a male gender-born person, they're given that right to sit on the female side, and they can wear a skirt if they like, rather than a ribbon shirt. And then also goes for the other way though. If you feel like your male gender is more pronounced or stronger for you, then you can sit on the male side and you don't have to wear a skirt. You can wear a ribbon shirt. So we give that kindness to them. And they're also welcome to sit on whichever side. Plus they're also welcome to use the grandmother. Like usually the grandmother we allow for the women's time to speak. But if there's a two-spirited one who feels more that they're in the female role or whatever, they can use the female drum and vice versa. So we always give that respect and kindness to our two-spirited people. When we think about traditional gender roles, it was there was a lot that was straightforward, but a lot was shared. Of course, the men were given the gift of strength in our body. You know, we're more muscular than women. Not all the time, I tell you. Some of those women are pretty strong. So, but we're given the strength of our arms and our legs and that strength in our body to look after the people. So our roles were always, you know, hunting, fishing, protection, building, stuff like that. We had our roles and what we did. But the females too, they may not have been stronger than us in muscular ways, but they were always stronger than us in heart and spirit. And because they're carriers of life, they always look for life for the people, which was so humbling, that beauty that they share. And in our prophecies, it tells us that when this time we're in now, that would be the women who lead us back to our traditional ways. And in many of our ceremonies, we'll notice that it's usually 70% women, 30% men. That's because those women are always looking for life for the people because they're life givers. And it's such a beautiful thing. So although in our traditional ways, we're taught to walk as equals, man and women. And in our ceremonies, it's always men and women working together. It's an important part of our ceremonies. But us as men, we always hold the women a little higher because they are the life givers, and it is up to us to protect them and hold them that high regard. So it's a beautiful teaching in that way, and we do that. And I'm so thankful for all the beautiful women who are out there looking for life for the people and bringing back teachings and helping to heal and help heal their families and their people. And the men need a lot of healing. Men for many years, for as long as I can remember anyways, but we've been taught that we had to be hard and we're not allowed to cry. And that the only emotions we were allowed to have was anger and of course happiness and that, but we weren't to show our tears or to show that we could be vulnerable, which has hurt men in so many ways, not being able to release those tears or not being able to be vulnerable. The Creator gave us those beautiful tears for a reason and these feelings. So it's important that we release, otherwise we build up inside and we release in a negative way, perhaps through anger. So that's something that the men need to regain and know that it's proper and beautiful to cry. It's okay to be vulnerable. We're not alone in this world. The Creator gave us all these beautiful brothers and sisters in this world to help us along our way. We don't need to be alone. So I say miigwech for male life as well. Now, when we think about, you know, the skirt, and some people, I remember this one girl told me one time, she came to me, do you like my new ribbon skirt? She was so proud. And I was like, oh yes, it's so beautiful. And she's like, and I learned that we wear skirts so you don't see our legs. I'm like, well, in our ways, that's not the way it's taught. You know, you don't wear a skirt because we don't want to see your legs. Of course, you're supposed to hold yourself in a humble way when you're in ceremony. But our teaching behind the skirt is that it was it represents the teepee, and our traditional, they're contemporary traditional because we're using contemporary things to relate to our traditional ways, but it's to represent the teepee. And when you're wearing a skirt, you're wearing a teepee and you're holding life inside of that teepee. It was the women's responsibility to look after the home fire, and they still have that right. And so They would look after the teepee. They were the boss when it came to the camp and when it came to different things. Like the chief could say, we got to move and we're going to move over here. But he'd have to consult with the women first because they'd be like, well, we're not ready. We need to prepare. We need to do this and this and this. And then they would give the time when it was okay to move. But they had that say. And also, the chief also looked to the elders for guidance, male and female, in that beautiful way. And the women were very instrumental in that guidance, because women have that unconditional love of a mother and they're always looking for life. They would never let their men go out to war or anything dangerous without a good reason, because in our traditional ways, life was one of our greatest gifts, of course. And to take another life, you not only hurt that person, but you hurt your own spirit. It is a last resort to take life. Now, the Western world would have you believe that we are always at war with each other and that we are always fighting over land. This is just not truth. The truth is that we respected our brothers and sisters. Like, there's always been this thing about Blackfoot and Crees and how they're supposed to be the worst of enemies. But an elder taught me one time that that is just not true. We were the greatest of allies, and that's why our two nations grew to be two of the biggest nations out there, because we were the greatest of allies. And when we had disputes, it wasn't always war. First, we'd meet and talk with pipe, and we would talk amongst each other with love and respect. And sometimes what we do, if we couldn't fix the conflict like that, we would do games. You see these games that you see our traditional games. Well, that's how we won and let go of territory, and we shared this earth. We knew that we did not own this earth, but the earth owned us, and we were a part of creation. In our traditional way, we know that we're part of creation. We are not above it, and we live with creation with love and kindness. And it's the way we lived for years and years and years, and it was so beautiful. But now things have changed, and we've come into where we live now, and we're all looking for life and healing. Now, when it comes to male and female roles nowadays with ceremony, things have changed. In some places, they don't let their females do ceremony. You don't drum for certain ones. Some of them, they don't sweat, and which is beautiful. That's their teachings. But the teaching that came to me of why this happened, what the change happened, is years ago when our brothers and sisters came from across the ocean, and it was illegal for us to do ceremony. We could be punished by beating, go to jail, or in the worst case, death, put to death for just doing our ceremonies. And back then, because we knew our traditional teachings, like I said about the men holding women just a little higher than us, out of kindness and love, the men asked the women to stay behind into the camp, and they go out and do ceremony alone. Not because a woman didn't have a proper place in ceremony and a right to ceremony, but out of love and kindness and protection for beautiful women. Because they're life givers, we want to protect them. So for that time, we started only the men doing ceremonies, and the women would stay behind. And after time, that teaching was forgot. And it was just told, women don't do ceremony. You cleanse once a month and you don't need to. You do cleanse once in a month, and it's a beautiful time, and it's a time of life and giving back to the Mother Earth, and also dealing with your own emotion. And it's a very beautiful cleansing. But you still can come cleanse, come sing with us, come do ceremony with us, sit beside us, so we have that balance of male and female. And it's a beautiful thing. And it was always to be returned to that women that their rightful place will be waiting for them. And they would be the ones to lead us back into healing and back into a proper way of life. So I say me which for that. And there was this Cree lady who gave a teaching about that coincides with our prophecy for this time for the women leading the way. And she gave this teaching about how for years we were under the Big Dipper, which was the male pipe. But now we are under the Little Dipper, which is the female pipe, which is just so beautiful because the way it coincides with our beautiful teachings about the women. And this is their time to lead the way and bring us back into a way of life that is sustainable and that shows our respect, love, and kindness for all creation. And it's a very beautiful thing. Now, talking more about our Two-Spirited one, we all have grown up, and we, even myself included, I didn't always have the best outlook of these people. I am taught to speak the truth when I'm sharing teachings because that's the way we should all talk when we speak these teachings. We should all try to live in that way too, but I mean, we're not all perfect, and I'll be the first to say I'm not. But, you know, I grew up in a different time, and back when I was a kid, I was supposed to be a man's man, you know, and you know, it was thought that if you look kindly on two-spirited people that there was something wrong with you, or that you were maybe two-spirited yourself. So there was a lot of negativity back when I was a child about the two-spirited ones. And I didn't have a lot of understanding for it. I was very ignorant to it just because it wasn't a part of my life and it wasn't something that I was taught. But through years of going through ceremony, I learned to correct myself. We can be taught ugly things in our life, but it's up to us to unteach these things and to learn and to grow. And I have grown. And I found out my brother was two-spirited, and it was the most beautiful day of my life. And I realized how sometimes our words weren't the kindest and the best towards two-spirited. And since then, I've made a total 360, and I realized the beauty, the love, and kindness that the two-spirited ones have to share with us. And traditionally, they were held, depending on the culture, like in our way, they were equals with all of us. In some cultures, they were considered maybe more spiritually gifted because they walked in the male and female realms. You know, they had both those gifts, which is so beautiful. But in our way, we're all equal. We're all to be equal, and we treated them as equals with love, kindness, and respect. And they were just like anybody else, but they were never put down. They were never hurt. They were never talked down to, and they were highly respected just like anybody. And in our way, it didn't mean that they were going to be spiritual gifted or anything like that. Just like anybody else, they could have a gift depending on whatever it is they're gifted in life. We all have gifts from the Creator. He wakes us up every day for a reason. He doesn't allow us to wake for nothing. We have a gift to share with the world. And I always tell people, the sooner you find that gift and start sharing it, you'll find your life just unfolds for you, and everything is so beautiful. Since I've picked up my traditional gifts and been sharing the knowledge that I hold, my life has been so beautiful, and it just flows so beautiful, and everything happens so beautiful. So it's important for us to find our beautiful gifts and share it with the world. Now, when we think about two-spirited people, you know, we look at these days and things that are happening to them. I mean, there's horrible things still happening with them, and many people need a lot of healing so they can understand them better. You know, my brother has went through some horrible things being two-spirited just for being who he is, and that is so wrong. Why should you ever be cast out or talked bad about just for being you? That's so ridiculous. So we through ceremony, we receive kindness, and we treat them in a better way, and we ask for understanding for them, and that you know, you want to be just understood, and you want to be known that you're a good person, that you belong, and you do, and you have all that. But when we ask for understanding, we also have to have understanding. And this is just something that I like to bring up, and it's straightforward, and it's the way it was. But with many of our elders, they went through boarding school, and they had some horrible things done to them by some people who were perhaps two-spirited or whatever, and they weren't two-spirited, so this was forced on them. So a lot of them have trouble with this. They have a problem with it. And when you ask for understanding, it's important you give understanding as well. So many of our elders, they still need a lot of healing and stuff, and they don't have understanding. And that doesn't make them bad people. They're just like the rest of us. We all need to grow. Nobody's perfect. But they've been through worse things than we could ever imagine. And maybe they have some healing to do within themselves to release that. I mean, I always say, no matter what happens to us, we have responsibility in it. Even if something bad happens to us and it wasn't our fault, that we don't have responsibility in that part. But we have the responsibility of healing from this, of letting go, of forgiveness. Because we can hold this within us as long as we want, and we can allow it to tear us apart and use it as a crutch in life and an excuse for what is happening to us and what's going on, or we can heal from it, and we can turn it into a teaching to help others who have went through what we went through in life. So it's important that we have understanding both ways, and that we look at each other with, always try to look from the other person's perspective, of course, because that's so important. But with that being said, There's so much beauty coming out, so much knowledge, so many people coming more and more accepting and not so ignorant about our two-spirit people, and it's beautiful. There's so much support for you. I know there's still ugliness out there, and sadly that's the way it is right now, but it's up to us to look to the good things in life. Again, we got responsibility in life. We can't just ask everything from the creator grandfathers and grandmothers. They're there and they're always willing to help us, but they want us to have that responsibility for ourselves. So it's up to us to all be educated to unlearn our unhealthy habits and to grow. Like I said, myself, I have grown, and I loved our two-spirited people. They bring so much joy to ceremony and so much just beauty in all ways, and it's so nice to have them in our ceremony. And it's nice to see a two-spirit male-born person in a beautiful dress and looking beautiful and feeling beautiful. You know, that's beautiful. Or a female-born person who's in a ribbons shirt and doing that work of a male. It's beautiful. So I think the main thing we got to take out of this is, yes, we're still learning and we're still going through this some negativity, but there is beauty to be looked at, and it's up to us to not concentrate on the negative, but concentrate on the beauty, and to help get rid of people's ignorance. You know, prejudice in any form is usually born out of ignorance and fear. When you have ignorance, it causes fear a lot of times. So the more you can speak to people and let them know who you are, what you stand for, all these things, you get rid of their ignorance, and you can help them heal in that way. And once you get rid of that ignorance, they can heal and they can have more understanding and hopefully get rid of that prejudice that's within them. So it's important that we share who we are and not be afraid to say I am two-spirited or gay or whatever you want to say. Be who you are. Do not hide who you are. That is a sad thing. And you know, some people will accept it and some people might have a hard time, but it's up to us to change these times and change the way people are thought of, and to lift them up and allow them that chance to heal. Remember, as much as people feed you anger, you can never heal anybody out of anger. We heal people out of love, kindness, and caring. And that's how we look at people. Your worst enemy or the person who hurt you the worst, if you can learn to love them and pray for them, you'll find that you'll get more rewards out of it, and they won't have no power over you. Those mean words or the way that they look at you won't have no power over you, because you've already shown them love and kindness. And in return, you'll receive love and kindness, and you'll find those things don't bother you as much. So I just want to touch on that because it's so important that we acknowledge who people are, and that people do not pretend to be something that you're not, because then you won't be walking in a good way. You'll be walking a lie, people lie. People lie all the time. It's not a good thing, but it happens, and that's the truth. And we all lie. We're all guilty of this. But when you lie to yourself, that's the saddest time, I think, because we know ourselves. Nobody knows you like you do. You know what you've done in your life. You're good, you're bad. You know who you are. Be truthful to yourself. Be truthful to who you are. Know that the Creator loves you, and that the grandfathers and grandmothers love you, and that Mother Earth loves you. And we all love you, no matter who you are or which way you walk. You are beautiful. The Creator put you here for a purpose. Find your purpose. Share that purpose. Share love and kindness. Our job as knowledge keepers is to get the knowledge and disperse it to the people so that they can heal. And their job is to gain that knowledge and disperse it so we can all heal. And I hope that you all join us in more ceremony and more talks, and help find some healing and some understanding. When we go out to camp, my beautiful brother, who is two-spirited, will be joining us to help us with some of these beautiful teachings on the two-spirited ones. He can probably give you more knowledge than I can. He's a beautiful person who walks the pipe, and he carries those two-spirited teachings, and he's always willing to help others who have come out as two-spirited and who want to heal and to find themselves. So I say miigwech for all you beautiful people, and being able to share this knowledge with you. It's funny, sometimes when we go through these things, I got a lot to say and more teachings, but sometimes only a little bit comes out at a time, and that's just the way it works when these things work. Our teachings are kind of a riddle at times, and it's up to us to find out what that riddle means, or find out what that riddle means for ourselves. But we always say, any ceremony or any talks you go to, if you learn one thing, that is lost. And these teachings that you hear, because ours is an oral way, in our Ojibwe way we did have some writing, but most of it was oral. These teachings, when you come to our ceremonies, you're going to hear the same teachings a lot of times over and over and over again. The reason for that is, when it's your turn to share the teachings, you share them truthfully and how they were heard. You do not change them. And it takes a lifetime to learn a lot of all these teachings, but no one person will ever know everything. So it's up to us to take the time and learn about our traditional ways, and learn about the beauty of our people and who we were and who we are now, and how we're going to help heal ourselves, our people, but also help heal all people. Anybody who wants to come to the ceremony and join us is welcome, because Creator doesn't belong to just Native people. It doesn't belong to us. It belongs to us all. So I say miigwech, and I'll pass it back to Cookums, or we can do some questions and answers. Miigwech.
I would like to share a little bit about the womb of a mother. Inside that womb, there could be twin boys, or twin girls, or a boy and a girl. And sometimes when we have these relationships with being twins, I think in the womb, sometimes there's a mixture of twins, of two connections. That's what makes our contrary people who they are, because it's that energy that's in their spirit and their robe that comes to that womb. Because the Creator gives us that gift of life, that spirit, and the mother gives us that robe. So sometimes things change in that womb, and we don't know what, like, it's just like if I was married to a black man and I had black children, and I was a Native woman, and people would look at me funny, or if I, vice versa, no matter, people are always judging us, even doesn't matter what race you are, especially now with this COVID, because we're all held back from what we're doing in life and ceremony. We're not sharing our life. We're not being out there and going to those powwows, going to these ceremonies, because we're scared to. And yet the Creator would pity us and help us through these ceremonies if we let Him. And there's medicines out there. And my son too, when like I had 3 sons, and I didn't know my youngest son was gay till he was when he was 13 years old, because he used to go to a separate school than the other boys, and the other boys used to walk behind him and kick his shoes and try and trip him and be mean to him constantly. And he was always fighting for his life to know who he is and what's wrong with him, you know. And he finally told, like, my son Darryl, the oldest one, that he was gay, and Darryl told us, me and my husband, and I started crying, and then I started crying because he wouldn't give me grandchildren, or she wouldn't, you know, he wouldn't give me grandchildren. And then I was so selfish. I mean, we went for a drive, me and my husband, and I thought to myself, I'm thankful my son is alive. He doesn't have to go through this alone. I will go back him, and so will my husband. And we did, and so did his brothers and all the family of life. And there's lots in our people who's so scared that they turn to drugs and alcohol to hide their hurts and pain, because they're not loved by their moms, their dads, their families. But we do love you, and there's other people that love you out there. And don't be ashamed of who you are. The Creator made you beautiful. He made you with lots of His love and the robe of the mother. And I cry for these babies, these young people who's hurting out there, that has to turn to drugs and alcohol to cover up who they are. And I ask that the Creator will bless them with everything they need in life and ceremony. And at any time, like my son said, if there's any questions or anything that you need, or you can have my phone number. You could carry my son's phone number. We will be with you at any time. And I say miigwech from my heart. And I ask that be strong in who you are. If you got questions, let us know. Call us, like I said. Okay, miigwech. Okay, one talk.
Well, thank you so. Of course, now I'm just saying. I don't think I've had a webinar yet where I haven't actually got teary-eyed. So, you know, that one for the par for the course. So thank you so much for sharing that. And you know, it's so brave. Like, I think these conversations they have to be brave. And so I just want to thank you both for sharing that with us, because we are hearing how, first of all, like, anyone who's having issues, who were having issues pre-COVID, it's now compounding because of the isolation. And then those who are struggling with identity are now alone in those struggles. So I think that these kind of conversations that we're having, that the elders are having, and that you have been very honest with, are so key, because if we don't have them, there are destructive paths that we all in the community are seeing happening. So I know how much both of you care for the youth. And so we will, like I said, be recording this. We are recording it, and we'll be sending it out to all those who work with youth, to the youth that are coming to camp, because we know that the challenges it is when you don't love yourself, or you're in a community who doesn't understand, or you don't understand yourself first, and you might be with a family or community who doesn't understand you either. So thank you so much for being brave and for sharing that. I do, are there any other comments for anyone here in the group that might want to, I do have some I want to read. So there was a young lady who had to leave a bit early, but she said that, she says, thanks so much for putting this on. It's absolutely beautiful and heartwarming. So that was one comment from a young lady. Also, we have Marissa saying, thank you for this inclusive teachings. So great to have these conversations and know there is support for people out there. Thanks for offering, and thanks for your guidance. And I think maybe we don't really understand that there is a shortage of that, and how many people in the community actually need that, and how important it is to have these conversations. So I just want to, if there's anyone else here online that might want to share something, you're welcome to do that. Daisy says that she agrees with Marissa, that it is important knowing that there's support. And I think one of our challenges in a good way as a group is to get the word out that there is support for youth who are two-spirited and questioning their roles, but also part of these conversations came from the fact that we know there are young women and young men who have the traditional roles and are still questioning what that even means. As a young Indigenous man or woman in this contemporary world that's now full of, like, you know, not post-COVID, in COVID, what is that role? So I think it's kind of cross the border. So with that, is there any closing comments that either of you might have as we go forward? We're coming right on target, so good job. It's like, you know, cosmic. Good job, everyone. Right on time. So any kind of closing comments?
Janet, sorry, I just wanted to know. Sorry, I put in the chat. Do we put the question in the chat if we have one?
Oh, or you can just ask right now. You could ask, yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, and miigwech to Elders Linda and Darryl. I just wanted to get your your thoughts around. So I was given a teaching around the pipe and how the pieces of the pipe represent men and women, and the men and women coming together. So I just wanted to know if you guys have similar teachings, or if you've heard something similar as well, and how would we explain that to somebody that, you know, is two-spirited, or if they want to have feel like they're part of that teaching, because if they're a man and they, you know, are with another man, you know, how would they see themselves in a teaching like that?
Okay, yes, we have the same teaching, and thank you. It's great to see you as always, miigwech. We have the same teaching. In our way, the bowl is the female part of the pipe, and the stem is the male part of the pipe. And of course, you got the whole of the bowl, and then the male gender entering the bowl. When you do this, just like in life, you create life through procreation. You create life, and when we're bringing our pipes together, we're creating life by doing that and bringing life to the people through the pipe. So our teachings are the same. Now, when you think about Two-Spirited one of our teachings is that each and every one of us, no matter what, we have half male and half female inside of all of us. So it doesn't matter if you're a male or female, you have half and half. You were born from man and woman, not just man or not just woman. So we all carry those gifts within us, male and female, whether you know it or not, that energies. Myself, growing up, I was always a very soft man. I cried easy, call myself a big crybaby because I cry so easy. I was gifted that beautiful female energy within me of kindness and love and being able to cry and all these things that men have a hard time for. And at one time I questioned my own sexuality because I thought maybe I need testosterone. I'm too soft. I'm too, I don't know how to get angry even right. And I questioned that, But then I talked to a two-spirited person, my brother, and I said, I don't know, I might be gay. I might be two-spirited. And he says, why do you say that? And I says, I'm so soft and, gentle. I'm, my emotions are more along the line of a female. And he simply said to me, he says, well, have you ever looked at a man and been like, oh yeah, I want to, maybe get to know him a little better or whatever. And I was like, no, I don't look at them that way. He's like, okay, well, you're just soft and you got some beautiful female energy inside of you. So why I mention that though, is because we all have that within us, male and female. It doesn't matter if you're two-spirited or not. You still will have male and female gifts inside of you. You are half man, half woman. That's how you're brought into this world. So you can still carry a pipe and you can still have all those teachings. And being the pipe doesn't mean because you're a man, you have to put a man into the female, you know what I mean? That's just a joining of two people, two energies. And because you have that both within you, you have that right to be able to walk with a pipe, whether you're two-spirit or not. And depending on that pipe, you can be given a male pipe or a female pipe because you're gifted with that gift of male and female that we all gifted with. You have that right to all the gifts that everybody else does. You do not have to feel that you have to put two stems together. Because you're both male and female, you can still put a stem into a bowl and acknowledge life in that way and bring life to the people. So I hope that kind of helps with that idea.
And also in our Medewan traditional teachings, the pipe is like this. It's the men's pipe has got sort of a peak at it, and that represents the male gender of him.
Has the point afterwards.
The point, yeah. And the female is round. The bowl of the female pipe is round in our ceremonies, and this is our teaching. So that's a female bowl, and that's a male bowl that protrudes, that represents the male gender. And this is how it's different with us, and we don't consider like my son said, we're male and female. We've got those energy to be really strong when we need to, and really soft. And sometimes are more stronger or more softer. It depends on who you are and what you need in life and ceremony. And it's really beautiful to receive teachings. Like I was really proud to receive teachings that a lot of people didn't receive because they're too ashamed to, because it was traditional back then. Hide this, hide that. And nowadays it's time that it comes out that we have also carried that traditional way. And when the women and the men used to cook or clean, and then my son used to come into the kitchen, Josh, and clean with me and do housework and stuff like that. And I didn't realize what he was going through, and it's beautiful because they know who they are and this is what they want. And even if sometimes they become confused, eventually they will know who they are. Their spirit and their robe will become stronger to them. And I say miigwech for that.
Miigwech, Coco.
Miigwech, thank you so much for those perspectives.
Yes, thank you. That is definitely a beautiful teaching. Doris had to go, so she just says, thank you, that was beautiful, and wanted to say hello to both of you and send on her love. And so we are at the time. I just wanted to ask, is there any final words? Like, we are able to stay longer, so it's no big rush, but did you have any final words that you wanted to share with us?
I think the only thing I can think of is always, no matter what your gender, what you feel, how you walk in this world, walk with love and kindness for all. As much as we want acceptance, we got to accept others. So if we can walk with love and kindness and not be ashamed of who you are, and look at people how you want to be looked at. Always have an open eye. I mean, look at homeless people with love and kindness. Know that they're just people who are hurting, just like maybe we are. Many people are hurting, and we all go through these trials and tribulations in life, and it's hard. It's a test, and it depends how you want to handle any situation. You can either handle any situation with love or with anger, and that's up to all of us as individuals. And know that you're not alone. There are many people who are going through what you're going through, and the grandfathers and grandmothers and our ancestors are always there for you. All you need to do is light smudge, lift some tobacco up, do a prayer, and ask for help, and they're there to help you. But we all have responsibility in that help too. They're not going to help you if you're not willing to help yourself. So remember to be who you are, love yourself. Something I'm learning right now more and more. I've always had poor body image or self-image, but I'm learning to love myself, and I'm living healthier, and it's really a beautiful feeling for me. And we all go through this. We all judge ourselves worse than anybody else. We're harder on ourselves than anybody else. We look at ourselves in a negative manner a lot of times, but you need to learn to love yourself. You need to know that Creator created you perfect in every way, and He loves you exactly how you are. And we all love you and accept you for exactly who you are and what you are. And you're always welcome in our ceremonies, and we'll do our best to show you the utmost respect and kindness. And if we ever make a mistake, it's not out of disrespect, we're still learning too. So we ask you to be kind and gentle with us as well, and teach us in a kind way. So I say miigwech for that, miigwech.
And also, a lot of people, when they do their work and their protocols, they, especially with this COVID, nobody wants to go and hug a child that's crying or hold them and say you're okay. But we need to step above where the Creator wants us up and say, be able to hold that young person, whether it's a child or a young teenager, hold them and say, you're okay and I love you. Because that's very important. You put your heart to that person's heart, then you connect. And that's why we always do our ceremonies with hugging each other. And lately we haven't been able to. But I will hug somebody who's hurting or crying, and I will hold them like I would hold a baby. And I say miigwech for that, because it's very important, because sometimes we need to be taken back to that baby, that child. Miigwech.
Miigwech. And since I've taken over ceremony, continued my dad's work, I should say, what I like to do at the end of all of my ceremonies that I'm a part of is usually we'd all hug each other and say, I love you, because not I'm in love with you, of course, unless you are. No, I'm just joking. But not I'm in love with you, but just I love you as another human being, as another part of creation, as a brother, sister, whatever you are to me, I love you. Right now, we can't do that. So what we started doing is hugging ourselves and say, I love you, because it's important to love yourself too. And when you're hugging yourself, you're also hugging everybody else, because we are all connected. And whether you know it or not, we are all a piece of the Creator, so we are all connected. We are all brothers and sisters, and we should treat each other with love and respect. So if, and you're always welcome to do it or not, and anything in our ceremony, anything you don't feel comfortable with, don't do. But if you don't mind, join me right now, and let's hug ourselves and say, I love you. I love you. Miigwech, a nice big hug. I love you all, and thank you for joining us. Miigwech.
Pleasure.
Miigwech, thank you so much, all my relations. And that was the perfect ending. So we will end it there. I really appreciate the love and the guidance and the teachings that you both have shared with us today. And we look forward to perhaps future conversations as well. So thank you for that, all my relations. And the recording will be up shortly. Everyone have an amazing day.